Hello, all you beautiful maniacs out there. My name is Joshua James, and with me is my longtime good buddy, oWo UK, Richard Pete. Welcome, Richard.
There ain't no way I am following that singing voice like you just did.
And the one thing is, I can't sing.
You did all right then.
I try.
You get a deal with Telstar.
I try a little bit too hard sometimes. But anyways, yes, we are getting ready to review another Dark Side of the Ring documentary. This time, it's the one that I've actually been really curious and looking forward to watching the most. It's the assassination of Dino Bravo. Now, you've heard of Dino Bravo before, haven't you?
Yeah, I am familiar with Dino Bravo from his WWF years.
Now, the one thing we talked about off camera is that we did not know he owned a wrestling company before. International Wrestling?
International rest. Yeah, I think that would it when international wrestling. I don't think there were anything else after it.
I don't. I just heard international and that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it were international. Yeah, just international wrestling or something. But yeah, I had no idea that he were owner, co-owner, or whatever he was.
Never Booker or something. I did not know that either.
It was like a co-owner, and it was definitely a Booker one because he put himself in top spot for ages.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. Like here's the thing. We also talked about this. The only time I've actually seen Dino Bravo was when he was in the WWF with Earthquake. That was the only time I actually got to know who Dino Bravo is. Did not know about his past wrestling. Like I said, when I was a little kid, I didn't know any other wrestling companies. The only ones I did know was WCW and WWF. Didn't know about independence or anything else like that. Didn't know about Japan and all that kind of stuff. Just, I didn't even know about Stampede Wrestling.
Yeah, I remember him from WWF. I think I might have got into it after him and Earthquake were a team. Because when Earthquake started with the Canadian Earthquake, wasn't it? And then they just called him Earthquake. But I remember Dino Bravo because, like I said, when I first started watching, he had the blonde hair and he was with
Jimmy Hart and
yeah. It will be Jimmy Hart, I think, but I don't think he was with Earthquake anymore.
No,
he were on his own. I think it was just before he went with that Frenchie, whatever his name was.
Oh, Frenchie Martin was the first manager, and then out of nowhere, then it turned into to Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, so I remember him with Frenchie then, and then with Jimmy Hart. For some reason, I got it into my head that he was with Bobby Heenan, but obviously he weren't.
I think you were thinking of the first Survivor Series, where the co-captains were Andre and Dino Bravo.
That could be it. Yeah, that's probably what's confused me. But yeah, I do remember him from WWF. Like I said, I just assumed he'd maybe come from with him being Canadian Stampede somewhere like that and gone to WWF. I didn't realise that he had his own company and everything. But that
was over
quite
a lot
interesting.
in that company too.
Yeah, it were educational that bit.
Now, another thing we talked about is he looked really different before WWF, like black hair, and then comes back and he's blonde hair. I'm like, he didn't look like the same person.
No,
same built, but did not look like him.
Yeah, it's like I said to you, if you'd put a picture of him with black hair and a picture of him with blonde hair, put them together, it would have just looked like twins.
Yeah, right.
But it's like they said when they were interviewing Jack Rougeau, that were Mountie, who I didn't recognise either. Not until he said, "Do you know who I am?" And I was like, "That's." And he went, "The Mountie." I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, it shocked you, right?
Yeah, I was like, "What?" He looks so different with a bald head.
But he looks good for his age.
Definitely does. But when he said about how they all left their company, didn't they, to go to WWF because he were holding them back and he were taking top spot. So Jacques and Ray Rougeau went 10 to Earthquake went, and then they all met up in WWF, didn't they, when Dino Bravo eventually signed. And they were saying that they all took piss out of him with his blonde hair and stuff, and I'm like, dude could have ripped your head off. There's no way I'd have took the mickey out of you. I'd have gone, that actually really suits you.
Yeah. But I think it's just because he's not ripping them apart. Because I think it was like he's worked with them. He knows they're probably jerks and all that kind of stuff. He was probably used to it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it did say that he had a bit of a temper and he was pissed off when they were taking Mickey out of his blonde hair. But it's like that guy that I can't remember who he was said, you don't see blonde-haired Italians, and you don't.
and also another thing is like I don't know why he was upset about the blonde. I thought he looked cool. He looked like a heel. He made a good heel.
He was a brilliant heel, but yeah, I mean, it's not like he was using his Italian surname, so obviously there was no real need for him to keep the blonde hair.
I mean, look at Hulk Hogan. There was the Hogan. I think was an Irish name. I think.
I'm not sure.
I have to look it up because I remember him mentioning it one time. They asked him to make him look like a leprechaun because they didn't have any Irish Americans, I think, or Italian American. No, Italian was Bruno. So never. Or was it? I don't remember. I remember watching the Hulk Hogan documentary, and then I think it was Classy Freddie Blassie that told Hulk Hogan, "Dump that red hair, die for your career." Hello.
Yeah, hello. I'm here.
Okay. So yeah, he told him to dump the red dye because it will ruin your career. And Hogan did. He listened to Classy, and look at Hogan now.
Yeah. Have you seen him lately?
Yeah, he looks like Santa Claus on vacation.
Looks like Zeus.
Or that, yeah. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people I think, are making fun of the look. I'm going to be straight up honest. I actually like the look.
I've always said that Hogan's got a god complex, so I suppose it's kind of fitting that, that's the look he's gone for.
If there was ever another Hercules movie, they'll probably play a fitting Zeus.
Yeah.
With the look he has now. But let's be honest, Zeus from No Holds Barred would be pissed off. It was like, so you're taking my name now, huh? But anyways, there we go. Again, we're going to do this a lot in our reviews.
Tangents.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, because it's funny you mention that, because there was supposed to be a match between Dino Bravo and Hogan.
Right, yeah. They mentioned
it in Montreal, but they cancelled it because WWF, it said we're worried, but deep down they knew that Bravo, the heel, would have got more of a crowd evasion than Hogan would have. And they didn't want their boy to look bad, did they? So they cancelled it.
AKA Vince McMahon. I think WWF and everybody were down to have that match. I think they were all down for it. I mean, I think even Hogan was down for it, but Vince got cold feet. I mean, it's not the first time he got cold feet with Hogan.
Oh, no. But it's like they said, they're under the cancel, didn't they? Because they knew that chances are Bravo would probably get a better crowd reaction than Hogan would.
Yeah, so found out who they did face on that day. Dino Bravo faced Big John Studd, and Hogan faced Cowboy Bob Orton. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think that would have been a good match. They teamed up before, I think, once.
I know Bravo and Earthquake used to team up against Hogan and Tugboat a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
A lot of house shows and shit together.
Now, what's your thoughts on him? I think he was a tremendous a great heel. A great.
Yeah, he was one of those that, when you watch it, as a kid, obviously you just know him as good guys, bad guys. You don't know the whole face heel thing. But no, he was a great heel. He got people to dislike him. Everything we mentioned before that a heel should do.
Yeah.
He got heat and everything. And the fact that he never really went anywhere is a bit of a shocker, like they said. He just seemed to move up, and then he just stopped. Yeah,
the only belts he held in the WWF were the tag team titles and the Canadian heavyweight title. Which, by the way, he was the only person. He was the only person to hold the Canadian title.
I suppose that class is a custom title, then, wouldn't it?
I think. I'm not sure. I've never found any pictures of it.
I didn't even know there was a Canadian title in WWF.
Didn't know that either until I looked it up.
Well, you see. You've done your research. I just watched the documentary and just, try to remember stuff.
I mean, yeah, I even looked up seeing if I could find a picture to add on here. I couldn't find anything. Couldn't find a single picture of the belt. So sorry, everybody. If you could find one and send it to us, that'd be great. But
maybe the belt were, also up for grabs at that Intercontinental tournament that who is it won to get the first title
Oh,
belt?
Pat Patterson.
Yeah, maybe it were up for grabs at that tournament as well that didn't exist.
No, I think they just handed him the belt.
Yeah, they did. They just made
Yeah.
up the story that there'd been a tournament that he won.
No, they did it.
All right.
They just handed him. They didn't hide it. I mean, like they didn't pull the Pat Patterson thing. They did not do that. They just did that for him.
I'm going to say that's what I meant. The Pat Patterson, they just
Yeah.
made up the whole tournament thing, didn't they? Just to justify giving him a belt.
Yeah, but no, it was fully admitted that they gave him the belt. I didn't find anything saying that he won it in the tournament.
Ah,
But
I didn't even know there were a Canadian championship. So
yeah, like I said, research. That's what I did. I just did that because I was going to make a championship history video about Dino Bravo. That's how I found out.
all right.
And yeah, and the one thing that shocks me is like how big of a heels the Earthquake, Jimmy Hart, and Dino was. It shocks me now, like looking back. It shocks me they never won the tag titles.
Yeah, you would have thought that. I mean, who were your tag teams around at that time? There were
Heart Foundation, Brainbusters,
Foundation.
Demolition,
Yeah.
Zeus, and Macho Man.
Yeah.
The Rockers.
Yeah, Rockers. They've been around. Orient Express.
Yeah, Orient Express.
Killer Bees.
They were gone way before.
They've gone back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Mick Martel were on his own, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think by after WrestleMania 4, they were gone.
Yeah. Mick Martel won in Killer Bees. One team and jumping Jim Brunzell or something, wasn't it? Oh, what it Martel and Santana were Strike Force, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean they still had some decent tag teams back then. So
Yeah, you think they could have won, but I think they were trying really hard to push Earthquake. I think they were thinking like Earthquake's a main eventer. If he wins the tag titles, and did you hear me?
no, you kind of froze.
Oh, sorry. Again, that's gonna happen a lot, everybody. What I said was like I think they were trying to push Earthquake to be a main eventer. So I think they were thinking like if we give him the tag team titles, that's a step down for him. So we don't want to risk that. Even though what happened with rivalry with him and Hogan, he ended up being a mid Carter.
Yeah, it's funny because I was watching something on YouTube the other day. It might have been Wrestling with Regret or something about the last WrestleMania that Andre were on when he turned on Heenan and pushed him away, and he threw somebody else out with a little cat. Yeah,
Haku and Bobby.
Yeah, and he threw him out with a little cat and went off on his own. And they were saying that was the last WrestleMania that RJ performed that, and then it went after that that Earthquake started getting his push because they saw him as the next big monster heel. Because obviously Andre was limited when he as to what he could do.
And the one that shocked me about Earthquake is usually guys who are that size like him get winded and tired really easily. Earthquake, on the other hand, never was winded or tired. He was just like, okay, I'm ready. Yeah, like
he seemed to be able to go. Like you said. Somebody took Belt though, who obviously became Typhoon. He seemed to be able to.
And the legendary Shockmaster.
Yeah.
I might be Shockmaster for Halloween this year. I might. I don't know yet.
Stay away from walls.
No promises. I'm gonna walk into work and just do that.
Yeah, just
nobody's gonna get the. But yeah. Also, did you know Earthquake used to be a sumo wrestler before he went to the WWF?
I knew he had done sumo, but I didn't. Yeah, I knew he'd done sumo, but I didn't know to what sort of level.
I didn't know either. Like
I knew he had, because obviously of his size and that he had sort of dabbled in it, should we say? But yeah, but I don't know what sort of level he were at, whether he were like Akibono status or anything like that. He's the only sumo wrestler I do know, to be honest.
But yeah, like with Dino Bravo and Earthquake, I think they would have made a great tag team champions. Great.
Yeah, they would have been one of them teams that you could have had belt for a while, and you could see why, because you got the big guy in Earthquake, and then you got like the blatant strongman.
Yeah.
In Bravo. I mean, it's like Jimmy Artsy when he showed that picture of him with Bravo, and he said that's one of my favourite pictures. And it's like Dino Bravo's got his arm between Jimmy's legs and he's lifting him up. And Jimmy Hart says, "I went into the ring of baritone and come out with soprano."
And also, Dino Bravo, when they called him Canada's strongest man, they weren't lying. The guy is legit like a strong dude. Like he could lift like 500 pounds.
I can believe it. The guy was huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to wonder how much of it back then was steroids, though. Because it was about that time, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, I mean, like it's the truth, everybody. Like '80s was a different time compared to how it is now these days. Yeah. Which is good. I'm glad they don't take steroids anymore. Like, what?
Yeah, if we believe what, we're told. But as we know from other episodes of this, the, testing policy is a bit of a joke.
Yeah, right. Allegedly. But right now, like with Dino Bravo, like I knew when he, like, even as I watched the old WWF days, there was no way he was going to ever be a world champion. Which was kind of a shame because I think he would made like not like I could see him like on the list, but he didn't look like a main eventer to me.
No, I mean Intercontinental champion.
Yeah, definitely. Intercontinental main event. Yeah.
Yeah, give an IC title run. But yeah, he's another one of them that never seen like Snooker never got a title run with anything.
A lot.
Yeah, it just seems a shame that he never really got to do a run with anything.
Yeah, like it's just a shame that that the only belts that he only held was like the tag team gold and a belt that we can't even find.
A belt that I didn't even know existed.
I mean, like, yeah, like I think if he was never going to win the Intercontinental World title, at least let him and Earthquake win the tag titles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it's like when you look at it now, it seems like he had this good company that were doing well. And obviously we know what Vince was like. He was buying up talent left, right and centre. And he probably didn't do himself any favours by holding back people like the Rougeos and, the Earthquakes, or John Tenners.
Rougeos, that was another tag team we forgot to mention.
Yeah, the fabulous Rougeos.
Sorry about that. That just popped into my head.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I never thought we went on about the Mountie, actually. I mean, I even mentioned his brother, and I totally forgot him when we were going through tag teams. But yeah, if you're going to run a company and you're going to hold everybody else back, then you can't really blame them when they're going to go somewhere else, and get good money for it. But it just seems like Vince were just like, I mean, it's well known that they were buying talent from everywhere to try and put other companies out of business by taking the top names. But, I mean, Dino Bravo, he's like, you're an absolute legend in Canada, so why not give him a fictional Canadian title and let him run with it for a bit? I mean, Million Dollar Man had that title and he defended that a few times. I mean, it took a few years before they decided to do it. But, why not have him just bring in this Canadian title and just say, oh, I won this, before I joined the WWF and I will defend it all over, and let him have a run with that. Do something with him because the guy was a good talent. Yeah. Like his look back then, like that guy said, WWF were all about the big guys, and there weren't many bigger than Dino Bravo.
Yeah, and I think another reasons why they didn't give him any titles is because I think they said this like in the documentary. I think is like he didn't like to lose.
It were very much against putting people over.
Yeah, and he didn't like the fact that he was losing, and he didn't like the fact that he was a bad guy because he was really loved in Quebec.
Yeah, he was a fan favorite in Canada, like Quebec and that. And then when he went there, it was like, no, you're going to be this anti-American, blonde-haired heel who's going to talk smack about America and everything. And it's like, well, yeah, to a degree I can do that because, whatever. But I don't see why they couldn't. Benjamin said that if they'd have put him in as a face, he wouldn't have got anywhere because they were pushing Hogan and Warrior, weren't they? So Brett were on his way up when they said as Dino Bravo were coming out, it was the new generation, one of your Razors, your Shawns, Brett going solo. And he was coming out, and there were no way he were ever going to get a spot over Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels or anybody. So
like the three faces who I could think of who were on top of the world in the '80s and the early '90s in the WWF were Hogan, Savage, and Warrior. Like
Yeah,
those three. And for the mid carders who are just like, kind of staying there, but also kind of going up, were like Brett, like you said, Sean was just getting there. And like they had great talent there, like Rick Rude and all that kind of stuff. And you think
yeah,
like with a guy with Dino Bravo would make a great, like,
yeah. Snooker was still
Snuka,
there.
definitely for sure.
Yeah, and then you had people like Big Boss Man,
Honky
you
Tonk.
know, Honky Tonk. But yeah, I mean, I suppose Dino Bravo could have worked either, but I don't think they wanted him as a face because, like we said, they wanted to push Hogan, didn't they? And he was Vince's boy.
Oh yeah, and the fourth one for Hogan, even though he never held a title, Jake the Snake Roberts and
Yeah,
Ted DiBiase. Like
yeah.
when I hear WWF, I think of those five, along
Mr.
with
Perfect.
Andre.
I mentioned Mr. Perfect had IC title, didn't he? So
Now here's the thing: he made a good world champion, but as I think of Mr. Perfect, I think of the Intercontinental title.
yeah, I think everybody does.
Yeah.
Well, it's only belt he held, so I suppose you've got to really, ain't you?
But he did make it perfect.
Oh yeah,
No pun intended. Well, actually, no, it was intended. Yeah.
yeah, it was intended.
But anyways, like the one thing, the one that about this documentary that really made me sad was Richard.
Miss like you crashed.
Okay, the one thing that made me sad about this documentary is just them interviewing Dino's wife and daughter.
Yeah,
That one
yeah,
hurt me. That one,
yeah. I mean, his daughter was she something like 6 or something when he died?
yeah.
Yeah, 6 wasn't she when they come home? She come home with her mum, and they found him. But again, it's another family that's not going to see any justice for what happened. But then when they're on about what he were doing, it's kind of an occupational hazard, isn't it? You're associated with mobsters and stuff. It's going to come back and bite you in the ass. But yeah, I mean for them two to come home and find him like that can't have been nice.
And
It wouldn't have been nice.
yeah, and also it showed that she got rid of Dino's stuff, like his wrestling gear and all that kind of stuff, gave it to friends and family. I usually I think that would be a bad thing, but at the same time, I get why she did it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like her daughter said, she didn't blame her, and she can see why she did it. It's like, right, I don't want any memories, but you'd think she'd mind you. I suppose she's got photos, she's got a wedding ring, so she's got mementos of the good times and stuff. But yeah, for her to get rid of her stuff, she's like straight away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame, but one thing is I'm hoping one day there'll be justice, but I don't know if there ever will be. But
No,
the one
yeah,
thing,
I mean, they said it's still an open case, didn't they?
yeah,
So I mean, you never know. I mean, look what happened with Snooker, that got reopened 30 years later.
yeah.
And they nailed it, so you never know.
So
But,
it could happen again. Never know.
I mean, the thing that got me as well when his wife said when she were at the funeral, she looked around and there were just people there that she didn't even know. There were all these people that they were all mobsters and stuff, and she didn't have a clue who they were. And they were all just like there, and she was like, "Well, who are you? Why are you here?" And like, "Oh, we were his friends." Well, who are you?
Yeah, right. But the one thing that what I got from this documentary is also is that I found out about this that Dino knew he was going to get released, and Rick Martel knew about what his plans were right after he left. So he went to go talk to Pat Patterson and said, "How about you just book me and Dino teaming up so he could keep his job?" But they let him go anyway. So
yeah, they said he were past his prime, weren't he, and stuff like that.
yeah,
But and obviously they were wanting to push Sean and everybody then said they've been like, you're not what we're looking for now. We're looking for the more acrobatic, the younger, that audience can relate to. They got rid of cartoony characters to a degree.
Which makes me laugh compared today.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, it was a shame that that they told him, well, we're not going to renew your contract, and he just went and told Jimmy Hart, look, I'm leaving.
I'm burnt out.
Yeah, I'm done. I've done everything I can here. And I think what he should have said was that he'd done everything that they wanted him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he did a quarter of what he really expected to be doing when he got there.
Yeah. Now, what was your thoughts on the whole mafia thing?
Well, like I said in previous episodes, I knew from like when they announced that they were doing this, and I saw something about Dino Bravo had mafia ties. I thought, well, how's this going to play in? And it sort of in the documentary, I mean, obviously we don't know how true it is, we're kind of going what they say. It's that, there were a big cigarette smuggling thing, and they were using like the Native Americans because they lived on river. So they used to bring it in and then they'd split money with them and everything. And then that escalated to, cocaine dealers like, oh, well, we can do the same. And then it just seemed like it just all went up from there. And then when they searched the house and they found that all them cigarettes and the $50,000. When they interviewed that guy and they said, it's $50,000 worth getting killed for, he said exactly what I was thinking, that people have been killed for less.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like all he wanted to do was provide for his family, and that was the only way he could do it, to get involved with organised crime, because he was only a debt collector when he originally, supposedly. Then obviously he must have still been earning money from the cigarette thing.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. And one thing is like they said in the documentary that Jacques said that he was going to go see Dino, and he also
he rung him, didn't he, and asked him to come over, and he's like, I can't tonight, but I can come over tomorrow. And then next morning, he was on his way, stopped off for gas, and I mean, the gas station guy must have known who they were, but it would have won because they were big names at the time. And then he was like, oh, your mate got it last night. And what? And then he showed him it, and he was like, holy shit, I'm on my way to go see him now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it were. I mean, like, there were various different theories about whether it were two gunmen, one gunman, two guns. Whether it was a mob, whether it were bikers, or,
Either way, like it was still like they said it was like 17 shots.
I think it were 11 shots, 7 in his head. I think 11 shots, 7 in his head, 4 in his body.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Hey, there you go.
Yeah, you froze again. But yeah, it were 11 shots, 7 in his head and 4 in his body.
Oh, so that's probably where I was thinking, like 17. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, 7 bullets to the head, that, to me, doesn't scream professional hit. Because the professional assassin, I mean, I'm only going what I've seen in films and seen in TV documentaries, would be able to do it with 1 bullet, 2 tops.
Mm-hmm.
1 through brain, 1 through heart, that's it. You're not going to survive that.
It's like what Jacques Joe said, is like he feels like he knew the shootman. He feels like he knew the guy who assassinated him.
Yeah, because there were no signs of a struggle or anything, were there? It was just, door were unlocked and, they just went and, they just walked in essentially. And he didn't seem to get up or anything. So they said he obviously trusted whoever it was that came in. And then that were it. They just, opened up on him.
I mean, it's just like that's the scary part too. Is like just like it's probably true. Like he probably didn't know who the guy was. And
yeah, well, they said, didn't they? He either knew it was and he trusted him, or he were expecting it, and maybe that's why he'd asked Rick Martel, because maybe he thought if they saw somebody else turn up at the house, it's like, oh shit, there's going to be a witness, so we'll have to put it off. And then when his wife come home, it was like, oh well, she's back home now. We're not going to do it in front of her and kid. So it
Yeah.
would have bought him a bit more time. But yeah, I mean, it's like another one. Nobody will ever really know.
And the part that sucks about it is like just how they ended it. They tried to talk to the police about it, but they can't talk because it's still an open case.
Yeah, and they were saying that they approached Rick Martel as well, and he refused or declined, sorry, to be involved. But they did manage to find that footage of him saying that I'm assuming it was like some sort of shoot interview,
Yeah, it was back
or
to
some sort of interview that Dino had told him about the whole cigarette business and everything. So he knew that he was just going to go from wrestling and get himself back into that and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it were. And then when his daughter said that her son looked just like him, like that's got to be hard.
Yeah,
Every
like
time you look at your son and think you're a spitting image of my dad, it can't be easy.
no, I mean like, and also like she said that like he will love seeing his grandkids
Yeah.
because what I seen on the pictures, you could definitely tell he loved his daughter.
Oh yeah, he would definitely. I mean, it's like they said, he went to WWF and he swallowed his pride so that he could provide for his family. Because being Italian, it's like they said in the documentary, that's what Italian men do. They look after the family, they provide for the family, everything is about the family.
Yeah.
So, he swallowed his pride, went to WWF, did what they asked of him. And then when it were up, it were like, right, we've got this massive house that we need to pay for. I need to make money. So he did what he had to do.
Yeah, and also one thing I got out of this one is like the police. The sheriff, he was in here, right?
I think so, yeah. I can't remember. There were that many people floating around, and I don't remember.
Because I can tell you right now, if the old dude was the sheriff, I can tell you right now, he was a lot more professional, a lot more calmer than the last sheriff from the Jimmy Snuka documentary.
Oh, he was rubbish.
Yeah,
He couldn't have found a peanut in a squirrel shit, that guy.
just seriously, because that guy in the Jimmy Snuka one, like he was definitely hiding something. He couldn't even keep a straight sentence.
Yeah.
But
I told you about it, the Jim Cornette talking about that documentary. Even he said there was something shady about that policeman. Something, how did he phrase it? Shady, greasy? Something like that.
it does. Say that again.
Yeah, I'm saying the Jim Cornette there's a video on YouTube of it, him talking about the snooker episode with one of his friends, and even he said that copper at the end of the snooker one, there was something dodgy about him. They said there were no way,
Right?
but that is well worth a listen.
Yeah, definitely go check it out, everybody. I mean, I watched it, and I completely agree. There is something off about him, and nothing like it doesn't like he's hiding something, and he's refusing to say. Like with this one, with the Dino Bravo one, everyone was calm and they were hoping to close the case. The police and the sheriff were like, it feels like they're actually trying a lot than they did with the Nancy Argentina case.
But yet they weren't keeping family informed, rather, because his widow said they weren't telling them anything. They'd come back every now and again to search the house again, but they just weren't keeping them informed of anything. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
If it's still an open investigation, you should be telling family, look, unless it's got to a point where it's a case of, look, we won't tell them anything until we find something. Because obviously, if you keep going to them every other month, it's just going to keep upsetting them, and that's not fair on them. So
Definitely not fair at all.
I suppose it's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. They'll want to keep informed. But at the time, when it were a fresh investigation, they should have been informed.
Yeah,
but
seriously.
It was interesting as well that they mentioned that there were two other murders. There were one that some guy that lived a few houses down, weren't there? And then the one guy who lived like 2 streets away, and they both got killed within like 48 hours of some Dino Bravo, and they were all connected, weren't they? So
when I first heard that, my guess was like after just watching that part, my thoughts was that I always felt like it was those two that killed Dino, and they ended up dead because they want to keep things quiet.
Well, one of them were an
That's
accountant, weren't
my
they?
theory. That's my theory. I don't know if that's true or not. I just want to keep that clear to everybody. That's just a theory.
Yeah, because you don't want your dog getting kicked open during night.
Yeah.
But no, one of them were an accountant, weren't they?
Yeah.
For them, and it's very rare that accountants do it like that. But they reckon it was the style and the timing after Dino Bravo got taken out that these other two guys who were linked to the same, operation and everything. So that makes it look like it's a bit more of a personal thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, it's another one we'll never really know what happened.
And that's really a shame because I definitely know that Dino does deserve justice. Like with Dino, he deserves justice. Same with Nancy.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, both Nancy's, woman and Daniel. All four of them deserve justice. But the part that sucks is they're probably never going to get justice. Nancy and Daniel never going to get justice because what Benoit did. Nancy Argentina, she's not going to get justice because she's dead and Jimmy's dead. So nothing's going to happen. And Dino, we'll probably never know who did murder him and all that kind of stuff. That's the one thing that's such a shame right now with everybody that they talked about. Like these four are not going to get justice, and that's the part that's a shame and unfortunate. Like it's a tragedy. That's one thing.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a common theme over the last few episodes that they all sort of end with, sort of justice for the parties involved or any sort of real closure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I suppose that's what makes it such a, I want to say interesting, but I don't know if that's the right word to use.
Yeah.
That's what makes people want to watch it. They want to know what's going on and stuff. Like, it's human curiosity.
Yeah.
But yeah, for them to never really know what happened.
And they showed even the number on there to call just if they have any information about the case, because he died like how many years ago? 90, I think it was 93 he passed away, or 94. I don't remember.
Something like that, yeah, it were not long after he'd left WWE, were it?
But I just found out something. I was watching Solid Monster reviewing the documentary, and he mentioned this. 3 wrestlers passed away that same year. And it's scary because it was in Brett's book. Andre the Giant passed away in January. Kerry Von Erich committed suicide in February. And Dino got assassinated in March.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 in 3 months.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's scary and really sad to just to know those 3 died in 3 months. It's just
it's weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Really weird. It's just.
Yeah.
But right now, I just hope one day Dino does get justice, and I hope the family does get closure someday.
Oh yeah.
But right now, it's just how they ended it. You seeing the daughter cry, it just breaks your heart.
Yeah, it's always sad when you got a wife or a widow and children that wanting answers, or I mean, in their case, I think they've just accepted that we're obviously involved in something dodgy and that is an occupational hazard and stuff like that comes with the territory.
Yeah.
The thing that got me though were the old guy right at end when he said that something about Shakespeare or something. They said something about life and death. You sort of bury the good stuff when the bad stuff carries on. He says it should be the other way around. Bury the bad stuff with them and let the good stuff carry on. And I'm like, that's quite appropriate for most of the series so far.
Yeah.
With Benoit, Snooker, Dino. Sort of let the good memories stay and bury the bad stuff. Well, that's quite a good way, because I think that was like the last quote of the episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I like that. Pretty poignant with that, really.
It's a good message too. Like, bury the bad stuff and
remember the good, and let that be the stuff that they're remembered for. Yeah, unfortunately, though, as we know, it don't work, because it's like what you said with Benoit. You're not going to remember much of the wrestling. You're going to remember what happened that night or that weekend.
You're just going to remember what he did.
Same with Snooker.
Yeah.
And with Dino, it'll be, he got involved with mob.
And the daughter said that she forgave him.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Said that, that they forgave him for what he'd done. And it's like I said, they were doing what he had to do for his family. They were trying to provide for him and keep him accustomed to the lifestyle that obviously got used to. But, I mean, they seemed like, his wife and kids seemed like, if he'd have said, look, we can't afford this house anymore, we'll have to sell up and move to something small, I don't think they'd have minded, but I think it was him that wanted to keep up appearances more than anything. Because they said where he lived is quite an upscale, area, and there's a lot of, mob-related people live in the area, and, famous people and what have you, so but I suppose it kind of seemed fitting that he'd moved there.
Yeah, but again, I hope and I pray one day that Dino does get his justice, and him, his widow, and his daughter get closure. I hope one day that does happen, because that's just one thing you want out of just seeing the Benoit and the Jimmy Snuka and the Dino Bravo documentary. You want to see closure. You want to see justice.
Well, I think, like we said about the Benoit one, that they've got all the closure they're going to get.
Yeah.
What happened, and they'll never know why, because there's nobody there to tell the story. The Snooker one, again, like we've said, she was unable to tell us because obviously she got killed.
Yeah.
Snooker were in no mental state to stand trial, so they won't get closure. I mean, I suppose there's always hope that Dino Bravo's family, the police, might keep digging and somebody might slip up somewhere, or somebody might have some information.
So there's still possibly a chance for justice.
Yeah, there's still a possibility that they'll find who did it, but I mean, it's like you've just got to look at how dodging that policeman went in last episode. It's like they were saying, corruption is rife and all this sort of stuff, but I mean, they show it in TV series and films all the time. Coppers can be as dodgy as anybody else.
Like,
I mean, I'm not saying the police there are. I'm just saying, it happens, unfortunately. And
so far, the only documentary we've watched that actually made us laugh and all that kind of stuff was the New Jack one.
Yeah, that was the only one that sort of didn't end. I mean, there was the tragedy of the mass transit thing. Him trying to kill Vic Grimes. But at least he were open about it.
Yeah.
He told people I'm gonna fucking kill him. But yeah, I suppose that's the only one that hasn't left anything. I mean, what we've got left now, the slap heard around the world.
Yeah, and we got somebody named Herbs. He's the guy who owned the UWF. James
Herb Abrams.
Yeah, Herb Abrams. Yeah, they're going to talk about him, and there's going to be one about the Road Warriors.
Oh, is there?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be interesting.
And Eddie Guerrero and Owen Hart. Owen Hart's going to be the last one.
Yeah, so Eddie one's going to be tough. Owen will be tough. Road Warriors will be tough, but interesting.
But there's one thing about the Road Warriors ones. At least Hawk got closure in the end.
Everybody knows what happened to Hawk, don't they? It were painkillers.
Yeah, with his drug problems.
Yeah, it were. His body just gave up and everything.
But at least he wasn't on drugs anymore. At least he was clean when he died.
Yeah, but it done the damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so we've got them few to look look forward to, but that might not be the right way
No,
of going.
it's a lot of people. It's okay. I think people get what you're talking. What you're talking
Yeah,
about. Like I'll say
there
it.
are a couple
I'm
there that
looking
I am.
forward to. I'm looking forward to these documentaries. I'm looking forward to reviewing them. I know they're going to be very depressing, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to reviewing them with you and sharing with you, everybody, with our thoughts.
Yeah, it's nice to do stuff where you can have two of you and you can bounce off, what you took out of it. Because I mean, they could say on the one of the next ones, they could say something. You could take it one way, I could take it another way. And when
Yeah.
you discuss it, you're like, "Holy shit! Yeah, well, it could be done that way." Or like
Mhm.
you'd be like, "Well, yeah, I never thought it could be meant that way." But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the rest of them and how they go about them and stuff.
Yeah. Well, everybody, that's pretty much it with our review on Dino Bravo's documentary. It was very depressing, but very it was interesting in the very beginning because like we said, we didn't know he owned a wrestling company.
Yeah, there are a lot of stuff about him that I had no idea.
Right. But like I
I'll be
said,
honest, I didn't even know he was Italian. I
yeah,
just
know
assumed
that
he was
he.
French Canadian.
I always thought that too. I never knew he was Italian. I was like, wait, what? So
Yeah, I mean, I
everything
know
I did was
Bravo is
with a
kind
lot.
of a, Bravo is kind of a name you could associate as Italian, but it also works as a French Canadian. So,
Hmm.
it's one of them, goes either way. But yeah, I didn't even know he were of Italian descent.
Yeah, I did not know that. But like I said, that's one thing I like about these documentaries. You learn a lot of things that you thought you knew about, like the story, but next thing you know, you learn more.
Yeah, that some of them have got that Edge theme tune vibe. You think you know me,
Yeah, right.
and you're like something pops up like that, and you're like, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, like with Dino Bravo, didn't know he owned a wrestling company. He
No,
looked so weird with black hair,
yeah, yeah, he
and
did. And
again,
I mean, the whole
didn't know he was
mafia
Italian.
thing came from his uncle.
Yeah,
His uncle was a mobster,
yeah.
and he used to be a wrestler in the 30s.
Hmm.
So,
Which
what was
did not know
Vic
about.
Vincent? Or something. Yeah, I think it was Vic Vincent or something. Wasn't it? Something really Italian.
I don't.
Um, they did show a picture. I'm sure it was Vic
Yeah, they did.
Vincent.
I don't remember the name though.
Oh, I don't. But yeah, I never knew he were Italian descent. I assumed he were French Canadian.
Yeah, right.
Really?
Like I said, these documentaries show you something. It's like going to school.
Yeah, it's an education.
Hmm. But again, Richard, thank you for being a part of this review, and thank you for reviewing this along with me. I'm having a blast reviewing these.
Yeah, I am. I'm really enjoying this. So when this is finished, we'll have to go back and do series one.
Yeah, like we watched the first series and just give us our thoughts because there's a lot of things I wanted to review them, but I just didn't have the time to review.
Yeah, I wanted to, but it was just I was having a bit of a rough time mentally at the time, and it was like I want to do it, but now we've got this kind of momentum going with them. It was like right, if we get
Yeah.
this series done, and I mean, touch wood and what have you, we'll be out of this
Yeah,
quarantine situation, but we can still find time to
yeah, definitely for
just
sure.
review us. But because the first series had some really good episodes in as well.
Well, I also did find out that the first three episodes were a big success. That they made enough money that there will be a third season of Dark Side of the Ring.
That's interesting. I'm a bit
I
curious to see what goes into that.
Yeah, by the end, after we're done reviewing all of these for the second series, we could always take a guess like what season three is going to be like. We could give like our thoughts, like who they should talk about, because I have a lot that they should talk about.
The first one that comes to my mind is Vincent's steroid scandal.
Yeah, I really want that to be on the season three.
Yeah,
Uh, Brian Pillman.
yes, definitely Brian Pillman. Yeah, I'd like to see something else related to ECW as well. But it's hard to think what because everybody knows why it went out of business because Paul Heyman, even though he's you know of Jewish descent or whatever, couldn't balance his checkbooks anymore.
They could probably talk about WWE's version.
Yeah, there's not much. I mean, it is a tragedy what they did, but
Mm.
there
I
ain't
mean,
really
that's just
much.
an idea. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't be too surprised if they're in an episode involving Ultimate Warrior. You know,
Yeah,
and what happened originally with with him in WWF.
that'd be interesting.
One about Jake the Snake, Scott Hall.
Oh, another. I know one that maybe they could probably talk about. And it does have to do with Jake the Snake Roberts. Maybe his dad, Grizzly Smith.
Oh yeah, he was a wrestler, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was an evil bastard.
Yeah, Jake said then in the WWE documentary. I think it was where he pick your poison.
Yeah,
His dad were a nasty piece of work.
yeah, like just a horrible person. Let's just say,
Yeah.
like he's just a horrible, horrible person.
Rick Rude would be another good episode.
That would be.
Quite interesting seeing what happened exactly.
Like I said, they could talk a lot of things about it for season 3. Like, there's so many like with wrestling.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. I mean, it depends how far back they want to go. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we've touched on a few there. Pillman, steroids, Rude,
The sex
Jake.
scandal that Vince had to go through.
Yeah, yeah, stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, probably a good one. Probably won't do it, but it's just an idea. The first time they tried XFL.
Yeah, the dark side of Vince's wallet.
That was stupid. So stupid what Vince
You
tried.
can see why it's like, yeah, I'll take a national pastime that everybody loves and try and do something different with it. Yeah, you know, you gotta admit the guy's got balls like grapefruits for trying it, but
Yeah, but
that'd
here's
be
the
like
thing.
me trying to do an extreme version of Premier League over here. It wouldn't work.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The first time they tried it, it sucked. The second time was actually really good. I enjoyed watching it. It just sucks that it's bankrupt now because of this whole quarantine thing.
Yeah, I heard that
I was gonna take.
people on Facebook were saying they were right enjoying it, and then obviously, you know, with the whole COVID thing,
I was gonna
it's
take my parents to Dragons game because Dragons is in Seattle and we represent the Pacific Northwest. My parents were watching it; they having a great time. I was gonna take my parents, like my parents and I, we were gonna go to one of them, and we were excited to do that. But now, since it went bankrupt, can't even go to one.
Well, you never know. He's good mates with Trump. He might be able to wangle himself some sort of payout.
I'm hoping the third time's a charm.
Yeah, he might get some sort of payout so he can start it up again.
But the part that sucks is like there's a lot of people saying, "See, I told you it wouldn't work." I was like, "Well, it's not working because of the whole quarantine thing. So this is not
Yeah.
Vince's fault for
No,
once."
it's not. But having said that, he's still running WWE shows,
Yeah.
which I'm starting to think I don't really agree with.
YouTube sometimes. Oh,
You froze.
no.
It's always you.
Why me? Why me?
I don't know. But,
But
yeah, I mean, it's like he reckons he's got all this money stuck to one side, don't he, to keep
and let a
WWE
lot of
floating
wrestlers
through.
go. He got more money now, and he let a lot of wrestlers go.
Yeah, it's like it's supposed to be a national thing, isn't it? Non-essential businesses and stuff aren't supposed to be running yet. WWE's still doing weekly shows and what have you. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the Hazard F5 video about the WWE releases from, you know, the last lot of releases. He goes through them and then he goes off on a bit of a tangent about how WWE is still doing house shows and he gets a bit wound up about it.
Yeah.
That's worth a watch.
But WWE's not doing house shows anymore because of the
No,
whole
they
thing.
finally cancelled them, haven't they? He's decided that, you know, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Took him this long.
Yeah, I think it's got to the point where it's like, you know, you've got to, because with the outbreak, I mean, it's getting worse. So people are like, you know what, I'm not risking it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they reckon that it sort of hits its peak, plateaus, and then there's like a second wave of it that comes. I saw something about it earlier on the internet, and I was like, you know, we're at like 20,000 deaths now in the UK, and
Jeez.
That's 20,000 people too many than there's all the rest of people all over the world. It's a shit thing. It'd be one of those things that, you know, we'll be able to say we lived through a plague, essentially.
For sure. And again, also, since I'm not working, I have plenty of time to do more videos. And also, doing a lot of these reviews with you has been by far my favorite thing to do. I've been enjoying them. Looking forward to them every time we get to do them.
Yeah, it's definitely been, you know, everybody's sort of doing their own thing to keep themselves upbeat and what have you. And it's like, you know, whenever we say, right, we'll do this video, you know, tonight and what have you, it's always been like, right, yeah. And it's something to look forward to. And, you know, there are, I mean, like, when we did the last one, the snooker one, and then we did the podcast afterwards.
That was fun.
I went to bed, I was still laughing.
That was fun. Which, by the way, that's coming soon. I'm just doing some more editing from our last review still, so just be patient, everybody.
I'm plugging the podcast.
Yeah, the Maniac Podcast.
Like the Mick Foley of this group. I'm doing the shameless plugging.
Well, again, Richard, thank you for being a part of this review once again. Had a blast. Now, for everybody, for Richard, go follow him on Twitter at Pete Rick.
Yeah, Twitter. I think it is.
And also,
Rick Pete, one or two.
Yeah, and go subscribe to him at Rick Pete and also oWo UK. He's also got a merchandise store. If, the link's down below. Go buy some of his merch. Show us some love and support. Anything else you want to say, Richard?
Yeah, I think when people comment on your videos, they should put hashtag We Want Pro Wrestling Tees oWo store.
Well, I'll try. No promises, but I'll try. But anyways, again, thank you, Maniacs, for watching this review. We do appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at oWFan19, and also go like the Oregon Wrestling Observer Facebook page. Follow me on Instagram also, and also don't forget to like and subscribe to Oregon Wrestling Observer. We love you, Maniacs, so much. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Take care, and have a good night, and stay safe out there. We love you, Maniacs. Bye-bye.
Broken bones from parts unknown simplify wonders of why broken promises reveal